be building a very big plant in the United States. He has to, because we help him, so he has to help us.
You heard what he said in that video, right? I need you to lock that in your head. What he said. He's got to build it. He's going to build it. He's got to do it. Look here. If you love somebody, if you got loved ones, you got children, you got family, you got friends that you don't want to see go to hell and you want to see them make it to the rapture of the church, you need to watch, post, repost, share. It ain't for my virals. This right here is for the people. I dare you to watch this one. This is the video that will explain everything we need to know about why Elon Musk is running our country. First, let me get my disclaimer out of the way. This is for entertainment purposes only. Now, y'all heard Lil X, Elon Musk's son, disrespect Donald Trump, right? Well, here you go.
To restore democracy. Prices from one year to the next are the same, and they're.
You know, there's a saying, like father, like son. See what I'm talking about? This kid shouldn't have this kind of vocabulary and know these kind of words unless words are being spoken at home. But who better to explain you than your own family?
Even the most golden among us, I mean, they have stellar careers. But if you look at the other areas of their lives, you'll see where their demons manifest themselves.
Now, Mr. Elon Musk is coming up with this thing called Neuralink, right? And it's putting this chip in your head, huh? Yeah, you better not get it.
What happens if someone ultimately does get a Neuralink installed? What will take place?
So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there that has a battery and a Bluetooth and an inductive charger. Insert the electrodes. So the electrodes are very carefully inserted, avoiding, any veins or arteries. You stitch up the hole and you just have a little scar, and that's it.
After the Antichrist rises, he will now force people to take the mark of the beast. Anyone who refuses will now be harshly punished or persecuted. But the Bible still warns that those who take this mark will be led into eternal destruction.
Is the testimony of his former babysitter and what she said. Check this out. I dare you.
I was like, what do you see, honey? What do you, I thought it was a bug or in the window or something, a bug or he's pointing. And I got right down there with him. His eyes were black. His eyes were black. And I was like, that's not normal. Like for a minute, they turned black. And I remember that fear in your soul and bones. So I remember that. And I've never told anybody that happened.
Wow. Did you hear what she just said? Did you hear what she just said? Explains a lot, right? It gets a lot worse. So keep on watching.
Like, do not, under penalty, do not ever say her real name. And I wasn't supposed to know her real name because she was in the Helter Skelter book. My aunt had a copy, and there were plenty of copies at thrift stores for 10, 20 years, and now they're not there.
I don't think y'all was paying attention. What she just said was Elon Musk's mama was a maid for Charles Manson, one of the most evil characters ever. But what she about to disclose next, I ain't gonna sit there and just watch the video.
So tell me what happened. Something's not right. Something's scary in that room. Describe what you see and what happens.
I went to the edge of the doorway. And I peeked in there, and I was afraid just to peek. And there was something happening in there, like a sci-fi movie. And there was something, he set him up like a little Stonehenge on his bed. And he was tiny, like I told you, so tiny. And he was jumping up and down, and he was saying, Moon, come play with my friends. Okay. That right there says he knew exactly what he was doing. I peeked in there, and I was so scared. I'm embarrassed to tell this. It's so ridiculously weird. And he was being lifted and being sucked in. I know this sounds ridiculous, but my aunt told me don't let nothing happen to that effing little kid. And normally I would never let anything happen to a child that was watching. I would run between them and a pit bull. And I said, but the way she said it, I said, why? And she goes, he's going to rule the world someday. And I'm like, what? Him? What do you mean? Why? And she said, don't you know nothing? They're the Illuminati. She would always do that to me. But she'd say, don't let nothing happen to him. He's going to rule the world someday. And I was like, that kid? You know, so I grabbed his little arm and I got sucked in. I got sucked into, it's like we went up and then we went down. And it was dark in there, but it was glowing. And I can only tell you that when I remember my peripheral vision because I was afraid to look at it, because when you're a little kid and you look at the cartoons and there's a bad boogeyman in the Scooby-Doo and you see its glowing eyes, it's like, don't look at its eyes, he'll get you. And I remember that whole, oh, if you don't look at their eyes, they can't get you. And I was being sucked in and sucked down, and I had his little arm. And it was weird because there was no bottom. And there were these creatures in there. And they were giant and they were semi-shaped like humans. They were glorious. They weren't like Smeagol's or any creepy little demon dudes. They were like beautiful, ancient creatures that moved in a different time. And they were giant. And they had a different head. There was a bird head and a cat head and a jackal head. And I would compare them, because I'm not super educated, to Egyptian type of things, to the types of things we had, little artifacts of. And they were beautiful, but terrifying. They weren't on my side. I'm on Team Jesus. And, but I was told not to say that name over there. And,
of course not, because they would flee.
My aunt told me never say that name over there. They don't want to hear Jack Black about your Jesus. And so we're coming down in there. One of them grabbed me by the throat, and I closed my eyes, and I had him, and I was tiny, like a little rag doll compared to it. And it was holding me up like that. And I cried out. I felt like I couldn't talk. And I cried out, Jesus, save me. And it stopped, and we flew back, and we flew out of there. And I still had him at his little arm. And we flew back, and we rolled out of his room and out of the hallway and into the living room. And if you've ever fallen off a merry-go-round and you woo, and you stop yourself, and I stopped, and we grabbed the ground, and I was I just felt dizzy, and I looked up at him, and he looked up at me, and we're on the ground, we're looking at a bug. And he looked up at me, and he goes, Moon, why are you not like my friends? And I said, well, it's scary in your room, Elon. It's dark. Well, they started calling him Elon later. They switched his name. And I remember the difference. So he tried to feed me to his friends, and he knew exactly what he was doing, because he called me to come play with his friends.
She said abyss, fire, brimstone, demons, devils. You racist Republicans, y'all did good this time, because Satan used your racism against you. And do you remember what I told you to lock in your head?
Going to be building a very big plant in the United States. He has to, because we help him, so he has to help us.
And then I asked one of my the head mother of the Santeria, is he the Antichrist? And she didn't blink. She said, no, but he will present the mark. And when you see him do that, the stage will be set for the Antichrist to step forward. So August 28th, 2020, Elon Musk presented the Neuralink.
Mm-hmm. And for those who still think that everything is okay, he's not making America great again. He's sending America to hell. Get the hell off my TikTok.